Hey, this is Sasha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. And what I want to share with you today is, can you make a healthy living creating videos on YouTube? So stay tuned. I'm going to share with you some thoughts and insights. All right, so a lot of people dream big as far as, hey, let me just make some videos and I'll go ahead and become a big YouTube star. That's not normally the case. And even though I do make YouTube videos, I do make videos, really it's all about building the business behind YouTube, using YouTube as an engine. So I want you to think about this in mind as we continue and move forward through the video. Now, before we get started, I do want to let you know a couple of stats and studies that have been done. This one is from a professor at a German university here, talking about first study to examine kind of YouTube data for clues. Basically, if you've got 1 million video views, it's only worth about 12 to 16,000 a year in advertising revenue. Now, that's talking about direct advertising coming in right from the YouTube platform. In the past, what happened was that top 3% of channels received 64% of all views in 2006, but a decade later, 90%. So that means that the more popular you get, just like in the real world, unfortunately, the more popular you get, you're not going to get you're going to get more eyeballs and exposures to you. But the downside is all the little guys just starting out, it makes it tougher and tougher and tougher to break through in this world. So that's really the big difficulty, is that if you're a small YouTube channel trying to get started, it's very tough to make a living off of YouTube if you're just looking at YouTube revenue alone. Let's go to the glass board and I'll share with you some more thoughts. All right, so before we kind of move forward, and if you're looking at making a living on YouTube, you have to understand, what does a living mean to you? If you're living maybe in a place where income or money is not as required, maybe a third world country where, hey, you're just making some videos and maybe you live in the middle of nowhere and $20,000 a year for you is a lot. Well, in that case, making a living is not too bad. It's not too tough. But if you live maybe more in the city, maybe even a very expensive place, you might need $300,000 just to kind of cover some living expenses. So depending on where you live, making a living is going to be different to you. Okay, not to mention you have to look at a trade-off. So if you're, let's say, an engineer that's going to typically make about $150,000 a year, maybe starting out at 75 to 150, averaging maybe 200,000. If you're going and you're starting YouTube and you're getting $20,000 a year, that's not necessarily worthwhile. On the other hand, if you can make maybe $300,000 a year, now that could be a little more worthwhile. But remember, now you're looking at, if you're going at $100,000 a year at your job, and you're trying to go into this bracket on YouTube, now that makes it a lot more difficult. So the chance of hitting that, just looking at the stats and figures, makes it more difficult. So what I want you to understand is that when you're looking to make a living off of YouTube, a lot of people, they think about ad revenue. So they think about, hey, I'm going to go ahead and make money from ads. So where does the money come from? So that's what you have to think about. You're looking at the ad revenue. In my case, this is not the majority of the income. You have to look at extra income. Where is it coming? Because you're using YouTube as a platform, and then what you do is use it to drive traffic to other services. You could build out multiple services. You use it to sell products and build clients for different things, depending on what you're trying to do. Some people say, hey, focus on one specific thing, but that has its own inherent risks, because if you do focus on one thing and that thing fails, then of course you've got problems. If you've got hacking or somebody hacked your YouTube channel, again, that's got problems. So if you focus on a couple of different things, all of a sudden your income starts to become a little more diversified. Now, yes, you are not honed in and focused like a Wayne Gretzky or a Michael Jordan on one specific thing, but keep in mind those are very special circumstances, and those are very, very special and unique people. I know that a lot of gurus say focus on one thing, focus on one thing, focus on one thing. But remember, you're unique. Maybe you do want to focus on one thing, maybe you don't. So make sense of it for you. So here, as you look at where does the money come from, well, initially ad revenue, it's going to be a small chunk of it, but that's what most people think of it. Now what you want to look at, okay, well, what product can I offer to people? What courses or service maybe can I offer to people? What can I do for my clients? So now what's happening is, okay, if you have a physical product that can bring more revenue, that could be a digital product, It could be a service. You can work with clients. And now you're starting to make some revenue here, 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 here. And the list starts to go on. Now, in my case, this is what happens is that you're starting to diversify and look at your revenue as a basket coming in from different sources. And that's what we have with some of our website. For example, you might see Backstage income here. We have a handful of courses and books here, along with coaching that I deal with one-on-one with people. So those are a couple of different products and services. Not to mention, the team that I work with, meaning the team that I've set up, we also offer additional services. Now, I don't personally do the work. 99% of the time I don't. But the team that does the work for me in my channel and helps me, let's say, edit the courses or get my YouTube thumbnails done, they also, we've got a new website set up for video editing, for YouTube channel management. They're the ones that handle the things for me, and they can also do the same for you. So this is called videoacorn.com. We also have other services, like, for example, that we've started, me and my company and the team that I work with, because we're already doing these things anyway. Ebook covers, book editing and formatting for authors. So anything if you're writing Kindle books. Social Fire Pro is more for Pinterest management. Podcast Color for podcast editing and designing podcast covers. And Local Drip is for local companies looking for web design. So we've got a lot of these services now that we go ahead and offer to individuals. And now, hey, maybe some websites make a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, a little bit of money there. And all of a sudden you've got your pot. Not to mention, my key is to help support my team. And if you can keep them busy, if you give someone a job, they really appreciate it. And they're making money, they're making a living, they're happy about it, they're working with clients, and they get a variety of projects instead of just constantly working with me. So that really is kind of a nice key point of where the money and revenue comes from. But if you're just constantly focused on, hey, my YouTube channel, that's the only thing that's going to bring me revenue and income, then that's really a tough bet. You're betting on a single item, single focus. And it's one of the other reasons why I actually have a couple of different YouTube channels. So if you go to my Traders Fly website, this is where we do kind of stock market and trading education for like options trading and that kind of thing. Investment income. Here's some kind of sample trades. We also just started My Little Nest Egg, which focuses on personal financial education for people, just getting started and getting out of debt, saving money, that kind of thing, building wealth. So 3 kind of areas all in the financial space, but really they're a little bit different customer and demographic, and that kind of helps split up the revenue. It also helps split up the focuses on products and courses, and if some things grow a little bit faster than others, we hone in attention on that. And as we have a little more free time or want to shift gears, because remember, it's all about personal development too, you can go ahead and refocus on other things as needed. Because if you're the type of person that gets bored on doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, with time, having a few extra projects does help out. So anyways, I hope this helps, gives you some thoughts and insights. So can you make a living off of YouTube? The answer is yes, but the question is how much revenue and income is important to you as far as living goes? And the next thing is well, remember to have a back-end plan behind the scenes. What products, services are you going to offer to your clients and customers? And once you have that in place, then you can definitely make much more money and income from the YouTube side, because then you're using YouTube as maybe a gateway to opening up your business further. So think of it more as a marketing platform, opening it up further to your clients, and then you have a much higher success rate and chance of success to making it on YouTube. Thanks for joining me. I hope you download and get some of the freebies here that we have on our website at backstageincome.com. Check out some of the other videos and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.